Welcome back to Morning Trade Live. It's time now for the big picture. So let's welcome in the team from Charles Schwab. We're joined by Joe Mazzola today, head trading and derivatives strategist over at Charles Schwab. Joe, nice to have you on the program. So short covering versus true positioning. What are you seeing today?
Yeah, I think that is the billion-dollar question, if you will, because we'll know at the end of the day. But boy, it does seem like there's more than just short covering going on. And the reason I say that is because there's this real fast unwind of the geopolitical risks that you're seeing in the trading activity, and just kind of look at some of the sectors that's seeing the biggest move. It's discretionaries, it's IT, communication services, materials, industrials. They're the ones that are seeing the big inflows right now. Energy's taken a big hit. Crude oil prices are down double-digit percentages, and so at least for now. Right, at least for now, Sam, it seems like there really is some clear buying behind this move. We got back over the 200-day. We're basically right at the 50, and so it looks positive. But I think we do have to remember that this is a 2-week ceasefire, and that when you're looking at this, things can change on a daily basis. And if we're giving ourselves 2 weeks, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But I think the one thing that traders are at least heartened by is the fact that there is talk about kind of a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but now we're hearing things about tolls being attached again. So it's a lot to digest.
Yeah, it certainly is. And in that sense, do the Fed minutes matter today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think they do, and here's the reason why. You're going to hear a little bit more in terms of what governors are on board for the tightening, and we already know who the two are that are really on board for the loosening. That's Mirren, and primarily Mirren. But I would say that I don't know if this changes the narrative of the Fed. I think it probably gives the Fed a little bit more breathing room to kind of do what they want to do, and that's kind of sit still right now, sit on their hands. Although we did see a little bit of a change in the Fed fund futures rates, now predicting about a 50-50 chance, or probably even higher than that. If you look at what the recent ones were, maybe about a 75% chance for a cut, and that was basically off the table just a couple days ago. So, things are bouncing around as markets are bouncing around. But like I said, I think the one thing that traders, if you look at where the activity is, it's in some of the higher beta space today. So there's definitely a risk on sentiment.
There certainly is. And I'm just wondering, I know it's just sort of day one of this ceasefire, and obviously we're just seeing a sort of knee-jerk reaction in these markets to start the day. But is there anything to suggest that we then go back to sort of the pre-war playbook as far as, some of the areas of the market that have been performing quite well as we entered 2026 that sort of had the steam coming out of them just because of some of the anxieties around that conflict? I mean, do we go back to that, do you think, Joe?
I think we're seeing a little bit of it today. Like I said, materials, industrials, they're having a pretty good day. I think that those were some of the sectors where you did see some of that positive momentum. I mean, look, energy, even prior to the war, had a lot of positive momentum going its way. And so those were, those kind of hard asset trades that we had been talking about. That boy, we just kind of we forgot that conversation pretty quickly within the last 4 to 6 weeks. But I think those might be in vogue again. I think one of the other things to consider is now that we're heading into earnings, there's going to be a spotlight on tech again, and it'll be one. There's really two sectors kind of heading into earnings where expectations had really started to ramp up the last couple of weeks in terms of earnings upgrades, and that was technology and energy. Energy makes a ton of sense, kind of given what we've seen in geopolitical risk. But the technology, that was interesting to me because we haven't really seen analysts pull back in terms of their expectations. How much of that is because they're in a bit of a cloud right now? I think that's a fair argument, but we'll hear more as we go ahead.
Yeah, and I want to sort of unpack that a little bit further because obviously as we've seen that global repricing of oil and rates and growth outlooks, we actually had earnings revisions coming in higher. And as you say, around energy, first and foremost, technology, I think some have been surprised by that, given, of course, these companies are already CapEx to the eyeballs, and you've got obviously higher energy costs, higher memory prices as well. Do you think they can deliver? I mean, given what we heard from Delta this morning, a bellwether for no doubt a couple of industries there and also the consumer, what do you expect from this earnings season, given the backdrop going into it?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, my earpiece for a second. I think Q1 should be fairly stable, just because if you look at when the conflict began, it's really that last month. So yeah, you might see some small changes there in terms of maybe what that print was. I think what's really important is going to be the guidance going forward, and this is where it's going to be contingent upon the CEOs and the CFOs to be able to kind of look past what's happened in the last month, and then maybe what could happen in the next couple months. It's going to be a hard task, right? If it's going to be hard for the CEOs and CFOs, it's really going to be hard for the analysts. I would imagine you'll see some cautious optimism there, but with the market pricing in about a 14 to 16% earnings growth for the year, a lot of that is in the back half of the year. There is some pretty steady optimism coming into this quarter, so I don't know how high that bar is to reach, but given some of the activity that we've just seen today, not only Sam, it's not only just what we've seen on the equity side, we've actually seen kind of a rebalancing on the option side too, where some of that really heavy hedging that was in place kind of coming in, and this is kind of what you were alluding to at the beginning, was this how much of this is short covering rally. Some of it is a short covering rally. I don't think you can take that off the table. I think absolutely that's the case, but I think also you're starting to see some repositioning now, moving away from maybe some of those heavy put buyers, and then people are kind of almost a FOMO, right, or a fear of missing out to this rally. Because think about what happened last year, right around this exact same date. I think we're a day away from the big rally that we saw right off the week after Liberation Day. People don't want to miss out because of this idea that if you're not in the market for those couple of days, you're going to underperform.
Yeah, and we saw what happened, the institutions versus the so-called dumb money, didn't we, last year as well. Joe, really appreciate it. Thanks for your thoughts today. Joe Mazzola there, head trading and derivatives strategist, Charles Schwab.